Welcome back to Fourth and Troll Fantasy.
Today, we're talking about 3 players that had season-ending injuries that we are not buying back in on a 2025. Welcome to Fourth and Troll Fantasy. This is the most entertaining fantasy football show on the planet. I'm Wes Selby, and today, the first player we're talking about is Chris Godwin. Now, I like Chris Godwin. You like Christopher. You like what happened the first half of last season. It was incredible. Up until that primetime game against the Ravens, he was like by far the best wide receiver, best draft pick in fantasy last year. And even like 4 games after that injury, dislocated ankle, one of the scariest injuries I've ever seen in football, he still was like a top 10 wide receiver. So there's a lot of interest in seeing what he might do again, especially after re-signing with the Buccaneers. He decided to sign with the Buccaneers instead of a team like the Patriots or the Panthers because he wanted to play with a contender. Now, you want to read between the tea leaves a little bit. Maybe he wants to play somewhere where he isn't going to be the wide receiver 1, but knows he can still have another shot at the second ring. I like that for him, but for fantasy, don't forget Jalen McMillan. Now, I know that we aren't thinking for 2025 that McMillan's going to be this great player. A lot of us were starting to suspect that maybe someone's going to step in place of Godwin, and maybe even Mike Evans after they left. Well, that is sort of true. It's just not Jalen McMillan for this year. It's going to be Emeka Egbuka. Already OTAs and training camp, they're already saying, gosh, how did he fall to us? Like, the Buccaneers are so excited to see what he can do. He's already dominated in camp. Now, dislocated ankle may not be a structural damage the way that like an ACL tear or a meniscus tear is, but I do not think for a 7th round value that Chris Godwin is going to produce in the way nearly what he did at the start of last season. And I still think that there's going to be a lot of opportunity for Mike Evans to break Jerry Rice's record. And we're going to see a lot more of the Bucky Irving, Rachaad White show. So I'm staying away from Chris Godwin. I am not buying back in for 2025. Second player that I am not buying back in on after a season-ending injury is Chris Olave. Yes, out of a technicality, he does count because his concussion was season-ending. As soon as he was concussed, he did not play at all after that. And you thought Tua needed to retire. This guy literally spent half the season on the sideline because of this concussion. Now, you may think that, well, the Saints were just terrible. You probably didn't want to play with them again. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Chris Olave really did have every opportunity he could with Derek Carr to be a top 15 wide receiver. And while we wanted to see a lot more out of him, it never really came to fruition the way that we really, really hoped that he could have. And now with Derek Carr retiring, look, you may like Tyler Shuck, you may like Spencer Rattler, but there is no way that Chris Olave with either of these quarterbacks or pretty much any Saints player is going to produce on a value where you're going to think that they're going to be a true, genuine starter. Now, Chris Olave right now is also going to be a 6th or 7th round draft pick. In redrafts, that's making me pause, especially because based on your league's format and based on the way that you want to strategize your drafts, Chris Olave may have to be your starter. I am not touching him. I am not buying back in on Chris Olave for 2025 with that quarterback situation. They're probably going to be on the clock anyway, so maybe we'll talk about who their quarterback is in 2025 or 2026. Right now, not touching Chris Olave. The third and final player that I am not touching for 2025 coming off of a season-ending injury is Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, that's right. Everybody in this video is named Chris. Didn't mean to plan that. Just worked out that way. Chris Godwin, Chris Olave, Chris McCaffrey is not going to be worth your draft pick, especially a 2nd round draft pick in redraft. No way. I am not at all touching him. Let me explain a few things here. First of all, Achilles tendonitis is not something that just goes away. I'm not a doctor. I don't think anybody here watching this video is a doctor. If you are, you're welcome to leave a comment. Explain how Achilles tendonitis can just go away. But I'll tell you why I don't think it's gone away is because I'm reading what OTA and training camp reports say about Christian McCaffrey. Again, the very 49ers beat writers that want to say how great everybody on their team is. The same 49ers beat writers that said seeing McCaffrey on the field is a sight for sore eyes. They're the ones who said, yikes. He can't hit that 5th gear anymore. He can't get that breakaway speed. He's not in his prime. He's in the autumn of his years. And speaking of, he's turning 29. Folks, do you know how many running backs that have been 28 or older have been in the top 10 for fantasy since 2017? You want to take a guess? Take a guess. Leave it in the comments. I'll tell you right now. 7. Not 29-year-olds. 7 that have been 28 and older. Are you kidding me? 7 of them, full PPR. Are you kidding me? That's since 2017. 7 of them. That's a 92% chance that he's going to miss the top 10 just by his age. I get it. It's Christian McCaffrey. We've seen him do it not once, not twice, but maybe 3 times. I'm not so sure he can do that after this final season-ending injury again, on top of already reading reports that he can't get that breakaway speed, on top of the age probability as well. 2nd-round draft pick, there is no shot. And I'm touching Christian McCaffrey, and neither should you. Thanks for watching. If you didn't watch our last video, it was about players that had season-ending injuries that we are buying back in on. Go check it out. If you can't find it anywhere here or in the YouTube recommendations, just go to our channel. Go down below, subscribe. We really appreciate it. And also give us a like. All the description stuff is down below so that you can join our Discord, which is free. We're talking about all kinds of news, all kinds of offseason content to help you stay ready for your redraft and dynasty drafts, help you with fantasy football across the board. I'm Wes Selby, and this has been 4th and Control Fantasy.